Gabriel Martinelli scored a dramatic 95th winner as Brazil came from behind to beat Japan and set up a World Cup last 16 tie against Norway or Ivory Coast. With just seconds left, Brazil won possession back on the edge of the Japan box, and Bruno Guimaraes slipped the ball into the Martinelli, who took a touch before slotting in off the post. It was heartbreaking and of Japan, who had more than matched Brazil in the first half and battled valiantly in the second. But Carlo Ancelotti's side kept pushing and got their reward in the final moments. Japan were comfortable in first half, and Kaishu Sano pounced Danilo's loose pass to drive past Casemiro and drilled the ball into the bottom corner to give his side the lead. Brazil struggled to respond before halftime but looked different side after the break, with Casemiro rising to power home Gabriel's back post cross 10 minutes after the restart. The goal had been coming, and five-time World Cup winners nearly took the lead in stunning fashion 3 minutes later. Vinicius Júnior received the ball 10 yards inside the Japan half, tricked his marker, drove into the box and jigged past another defender and stabbed his shot towards the far corner, only for Japan keeper Zion Suzuki to tip it on the post. Japan regrouped from there, and while Brazil continued to push forward, chances were limited. That is until Tanaka lost the ball on the corner of his own box and was ruthlessly punished by Martinelli and Brazil. Brazil will now face either Ivory Coast or Norway in the last 16. Meanwhile, Brazil fans celebrate the comeback win for Japan on Copacabana Beach. Let's take a look how the fans are celebrating the goals of this five-time champion Brazilian team, and a huge crowd is there celebrating the win of Brazil.
Mais jogo participando e sendo decisivo dessa vez.
And a big win for Brazil team. To help us to break down all the action from the FIFA World Cup 2026, we are joined by veteran sports journalist Rakesh Rao. With decades of experience covering major sporting events, he brings deep insight into the game's tactics, standout performances, and the stories behind the headlines. Also joined by DD India correspondent Gaurav Kumar from Newsroom. First, we will discuss Brazil's dramatic late win over Japan. Rakesh, a very warm welcome, starting with you. Brazil showed great resilience to come from behind and score the winner in the 95th minute. Do you see this as the kind of performance that can define team's World Cup campaign, or are still areas of concern despite the victory?
I think it's somewhere, between what you just now, mentioned, because I still feel that Brazilians are still to play their best game. Because the way they came out, the first half, they were nowhere. Although if you look at the stats, stats still say that Brazilians dominated the game. They had more shots at the goal, like 20 shots to Japan's just 5. And on target, they were 7 times to Japan's just 2. But overall, when you see the position, there's a huge difference, 60-40. So if you look at how Brazilians played, that looks okay, but their flair, the way they football looks so easy. That was all there in the second half. So they still didn't play a perfect game, but yes, they came out well in the second half, and they looked, of course, clearly superior. Having said that, will their fans be excited about it? Definitely yes. But this is not the Brazil that looks settled as yet. And also, you must remember, today Japan had at least 4 injured players, who were not part of those in the field of play. So that makes a difference because football, as I've always maintained, that it's a long tournament, and a lot of fancy teams, if their players are on already yellow, so they don't want to take another one and miss an opportunity to represent the country in one more game, and that's a huge game of their lives. So how how injury free your team is. Like Japan struggled and Brazil just capitalized. Now this is also one. But to answer your question, it is like Brazilians haven't played their best so far, and especially today. What we saw was that Japan almost made them look as though Brazil was stoppable. And look at the Japanese, their defense. I mean, whether they were, kind of withdrawn defenders, or whether they were, people, the first line, they looked so solid, especially in the first half. Brazilians kept attacking. If you see, they were all over, but the way Suzuki defended, or the main defenders, they were just there. And that is what I think Japan's tactic was, that just frustrate them, and just, opportunities arise, you go and take a shot. They just had 2 shots in the entire match, Japan, and one of them, resulted in a goal.
Right, very, we can say that a good defensive system always Japan brings there. Also, we are joined by Gaurav. Gaurav, if you take a look, the match in the first half, it was dominated by Japanese team. But in the second half, the changes made by the coach Carlo Ancelotti, first he bought in the 46th with the Endrick, then also replaced Cunha, who plays for the Liverpool team, Manchester United. So do you think that the tactical brilliance of the Carlo Ancelotti also comes into play as far as second half is concerned, and they won the match in the that is the injury time?
Yes, definitely, Narayan. That's what we were talking yesterday, because it makes a lot of difference. But when you have a great coach like Carlo Ancelotti, and what he has shown in the second half, he makes the change in the strategy, and that what reflect in the Brazil game too. So all in all, when you have a good coach like that of Carlo Ancelotti, and in the light of his presence, we have seen that how the Vinicius Júnior game has been spread overnight, and we have seen that how he makes the goal in this tournament, and now he's with 4 goals. Yesterday he also makes some good efforts to make the goal, but unfortunately it doesn't goes up to the mark. But yes, this Brazil team is very much confident, and what we have seen in the earlier editions also, if we look back into the 2022, they were out from the quarterfinal, and if we look out of 2018, they were the same story was also written over there. So after winning 2002 World Cup trophy, their game has been little bit changed. So not much has been needed to much joy, but we can say that they were facing Asian giants, Japan, as they have played in their past matches. So all in all, we can say that it's a good victory. It's a victory that it will boost their confidence, because when your strategy works, it reflects into the goal, that makes, and that what much needed for this team, Brazil. Right.
Much needed win for the Brazil too, and the tactics, and especially they went for the crosses in the second half, and that put the defense system of the Japanese team far off the post, and because of that they found the gap, and Martinelli scored the important goal. Rakesh and Gaurav, you stay with us. We will come back to you. For the moment, we turn our focus to the next story. Paraguay knocked 4-time champions Germany out of the World Cup after a dramatic penalty shootout. The match finished 1-1 after extra time before Paraguay stayed calm in the shootout to secure a historic win and end Germany's hopes of a deep tournament run. And Paraguay took the lead in the 42nd minute when Julio Enciso finished past goalkeeper to make it 1-0. Germany responded after break with Kai Havertz equalizing 9 minutes into the second half. The match remained level through extra time, although Germany saw headed goal from Jonathan Tah disallowed following a VAR review. In the shootout, Paraguay keeper Orlando Gil saved penalties from Kai Havertz and Nick Wolfmade to swing the advantage with a side sway. Paraguay then missed 2 chances to win it before Jose Canales scored the decisive spot kick after Tah blazed his effort over the bar. Paraguay will now face either France or Sweden in the last 16 on July 5. Germany won the World Cup in 1954, 74, 1990 and 2014, but have failed in 3 successive tournaments since their most recent success in 2018. They lost to Mexico, South Korea and finished bottom of their group before failing to make it out of the group again in 2022, coming third after losing Japan. This year's exit was another World Cup humiliation against the Paraguay side that were 41st in the FIFA rankings at the start of the tournament and 31 places below Germany. And Ascension erupts in joy after Paraguay stuns Germany at the World Cup. The fans are celebrating the win of their team against a mighty side. The German fans are watching the match here. They're celebrating the goal, but their team could not make it to the next round of the tournament. Now, Paraguay's stunning penalty shootout victory over Germany. So, Rakesh, again we saw a mighty team that is the powerhouse of the world soccer out of the World Cup. So, what's wrong with this German team? We know that the kind of past they have dominating the world football. If you take a look at the past 3 editions, adding this edition to, they are nowhere.
You know what? For me, Germany has been playing well. I mean, if you see this match in particular, I mean, they were all over. They were looking so solid right through. I mean, if you see the kind of I mean, if you go purely by stats, this is what their pass accuracy was 92%. That means they're possessing the ball for 75% of the match time. It is just to give you an idea. Why I quote from these stats is just to give you an idea that Germany played good football. It is just that they couldn't finish it. I mean, if you can have as many as 7 shots on target, which is 3 more than what their rivals could do, they had 21 shots at the goal overall. I mean, just imagine. I mean, you don't get these opportunities. But where Paraguay came superior was that they could actually stay there and they could fight it out because there was an onslaught. Germans were coming very, very hard at their opponents, but give credit to the opposition. I mean, they were there. And I mean, for me, Germany not making it beyond this point for the 3rd successive one, because 2014 they won the World Cup, 2018 they could not go past the league. Again, 2022, as you said, they couldn't go past the league, and this time they make it to the round of 32, which is introduced for the first time in the World Cup, and there they are. They cannot just go beyond a point after playing well. But if you look at the campaign, if you just take a quick look, because we are not going to talk about Germany after this, I feel they had a rousing start, then that stumble in the second game, and in the third again, they trailed by a goal to come back and win. So overall, when you see, this is not the Germany that we know. The precision of the Germans was definitely not there. They were doing everything right except scoring. So, except that first match.
So, we can say that even if their coach Nagelsmann, I think tactically it was not sound, not bringing the right players. The way he started the player, Musiala was not there in the starting lineup. So, creative players should be there to be there. Gaurav, in very short, do you think that this Paraguay team can go far ahead in the tournament? Because we know that in the next stage they will face tougher contests from the heavyweights of the game.
Yeah, Narayan, if we talk about the Paraguay games, they have brilliantly shown their game against the German side, because if you look into the history, Germans have never lost a penalty shootout in the World Cup games. So this is a big victory for the Paraguayan side. And this time, what we have seen in the German side, they have lost the game against the Ecuador, and they have started their campaign in a pretty good movement when they defeated the opponent But all in all, we can say that this German side they have to look out to their games, what gone wrong with them after winning 2014 World Cup trophy, and a lot of voices will also be surrounding around Nagelsmann, that now whether its time is over for this man.
Definitely, the German teams will look to reorganize from here, and they will try to bring back that glorious past again. Now, moving to the next match, we will again come to you, Gaurav and Rakesh. Morocco stunned once again another European giant, Netherlands, and now moves to the round of 16. Morocco will now face Canada in the round of 16. So we can say that's again a big upset in the World Cup. Rakesh, how you look this thing that the European football, Germany is out, Netherlands, who are touted as a tournament favorite, one of the best defense in this World Cup. So do you think that this Moroccan team has, last time also they were in the semi-finals, they are a different team, a different breed of players?
Absolutely. The way Moroccans have come back, you can see that they're a very strong team. Physically, they are up there. They match you skill-wise. They take their opportunities. And on the other hand, when you see, I mean, you just made a wonderful, point that how we see that the European soccer style is on a decline. We keep talking about, teams like Germany, England. Of course, you still have Spain and France right up there. But look at the decline of some of these giants. I've been following World Cups right from 1978. And what I see is at that time, if you just go back and see 78, 82 and all, teams like, like Holland and all, like Netherlands, very, very strong side. Germany right up there. So these are the teams which were very, very strong. And today we are talking about these teams not even making it to the round of 16. Things can happen, obviously, but then, the kind of aura which these teams had. Morocco, on the other hand, always seemed very, very solid. Very, very solid. They may not score as many, but they don't concede as many as well. So overall, when you look at this kind of a resilience from these sides, I mean, absolutely fantabulous. And this is good for world soccer. When you see not every strong team can make it, but this time, so far, we have seen that the stars are shining bright. The teams which are expected to win are winning. But today, just the second day of the knockout phase, and we have already seen some of the better known teams, not necessarily fancy teams, but they are getting beaten. Beaten, whether it is they're not getting beaten in the first 90 minutes, which is fine, but thereafter what happens is that extended time, extra time, penalty, whatever that you see, they're still not able to win in the kind of fashion that their reputation normally goes on to suggest. But reputations are taking a beating, which happens on the world stage across sports. But in football, when it happens, because it's a contact sport, people are passionate about it. Right. Just imagine what must be happening in Germany right now. Just imagine Brazil down by a goal. How does it feel? So these are the countries which are going to breathe easy now. I mean, once they win. But in Germany, it is catastrophic. I mean, 3 successive World Cups. You have won it so many times. When you look at a generation which is say about 12 years old, they haven't seen their team. Now I'm talking about an 11-year-old fan from Germany. Right. Just imagine, he hasn't seen his team in just one game of knockout, and they get knocked out.
So it's clearly visible that is a paradigm shift in football is taking place. Team like Morocco, even Japan giving us stiff challenges like the South American teams and even the European teams. So it's a good thing for the game because it is expanding globally, and also this World Cup is the expanded World Cup. Thanks Rakesh, thanks Gaurav for giving valuable inputs on those matches, and we saw 2 big powerhouses of the world football crashed out of the tournament in the round of 32. Thanks a lot for joining us. Now today's matches, France began their FIFA World Cup knockout journey on Tuesday night with a round of 32 clash against Sweden at the New York New Jersey Stadium. While France have looked like one of the strongest teams in the tournament, Sweden will be hoping to pull off a major upset. France topped Group I with a perfect record, winning all 3 matches against Senegal, Iraq and Norway. Les Bleus scored 10 goals and conceded only 2, underlining their dominance. Ousmane Dembele's hat-trick against Norway showed that France have attacking firepower beyond star striker like Kylian Mbappe. Although There are some concern about their defensive approach without the ball. France's squad depth and quality make them one of the favourites to lift the trophy. Sweden reached the round of 32 after finishing one of the best third-place teams. They beat Tunisia, suffered a heavy 5-1 defeat, lost to Netherlands and drew 1-1 with Japan. Graham Potter's side scored 7 goals but also conceded 7, highlighting their defensive struggles. France start as a clear favourites, but Sweden will look to defy the odds and keep their World Cup dreams alive. And host Mexico will take on Ecuador in the FIFA World Cup round of 32 on Wednesday at the Mexico City Stadium. Mexico enter the match in the top form, while Ecuador will hope to continue their giant killing run. Mexico have been one of the standout teams of the tournament so far. Xavier Aguirre's side won all the 3 group matches, scored 6 goals and did not concede a single goal. They beat South Africa 2-0, edged past South Korea 1-0 and finished with a convincing 3-0 win over Czech Republic. Backed by a passionate home crowd, Mexico are unbeaten in their last 9 World Cup matches at the stadium. Their strong defense and confident attack make them one of the favourites to reach the next round. Meanwhile, Ecuador had a difficult start to the tournament but fought back to qualify as one of the best third-place teams. They lost 1-0 to Ivory Coast and were held to a goalless draw by Curaçao, and then stunned group winners Germany with a brilliant 2-0 comeback victory. That impressive result has given the team a big confidence, but they now face a much tougher test against the host Mexico. And Mexico starts favourite, and Ecuador have already shown they can upset big teams and will be aiming for another surprise. So that brings us to the end of the special broadcast on the FIFA World Cup on DD India. As knockout stages gather pace, the race for the football's biggest prize becomes even more exciting, with every match carrying the dream of the World Cup glory. We will continue to bring you the latest updates, match previews and expert analysis and all the major moments from the tournament. Thanks for watching. Namaskar. Have a nice day.